Welcome back to part 2 of my terrible date.
Mal, I got to tell you, as I said in part 1, I haven't done this in 18 years. I have never used a dating app. I have never had an experience like that with Bumble or Tinder or any of those things. So I've heard stories. We have chronicled videos, but I've never heard it first person like this. So the setup is you meet this person at Dave & Buster's.
She's like your typical, like, you know, like the stereotype, like the male gamer is disgusting. He plays League. He doesn't know social cues, things like that. It's like that, but in a girl.
Oh my God.
You know?
My whole big concern always with Tinder, Bumble, any of the dating apps, not endorsing or saying any of them are terrible, but I've always had
I'm gonna pop these off.
Get relaxed, stay a while. We're going to tell the story. Yeah. Tell the story. So my concern always is you're meeting up with somebody you don't know, and I had somebody that worked for me. He was like meeting girls at hotels. I'm like, how do you know somebody doesn't pop out of a closet? So your story is you're in Dave & Buster's. She dropped the N-word, hard R,
multiple times
around folks of that ilk in our society, which is like crazy. But then you go to the parking lot where she doesn't have a car. If we didn't have a car.
For reasons that I'll get into.
Yeah, so I'm doing this setup here. Because she doesn't have a car. If a guy didn't have a car, we would immediately be, public enemy number 1 with a woman. But she's also carrying on her person, you allege, 4 weapons of mass destruction.
To be fair, I did hyperbolize a little bit.
All right, fair enough.
The exact number of knives that she had on her was, and I quote, 3, not 4.
3, 4. It's more than 1.
So I did hyperbolize a smidge.
All right, and that's where we left off. Part 1. You're in the parking lot now.
We're walking to my car to go to her house to play Uno.
Nobody knows why that would be the case.
Because Mal is crazy.
Mal, you're showing your age. You're being a typical guy. Yeah. Anything to run the bases.
So we're walking to the car, and I'm like, lovely. She's got a lot of weapons on her. We get in the car. We start driving. It's a 20-minute drive actually to her house.
So she's in your passenger seat.
Correct.
Of your car.
The first 5 to 10 minutes of the car ride is actually not bad. We're having conversations about pop culture, Disney, Star Wars, how nostalgia is affecting, modern movies, TV shows, how Disney's kind of shit in the bed, all that stuff. Stuff I'm vibing with. Okay. Right. Yeah, I fuck with that. You're going to have to bleep that too. I'm just terrible.
We're not monetized.
I know.
By Twisted Tea, we're not sponsored. What's the difference anymore?
We are not sponsored by Twisted Tea. Anyway, then the conversation turns because there's a little lull in conversation, right? A little silence. And then she goes, I guess I'm going to have to ask those gay questions that they always ask. And I go, and in my head, I'm like, gay questions? What is she talking about? And she goes, the gay questions like, what do you do for work? I'm like, all right, it's
wow.
They're small talk questions. I get it. I get they're annoying, but some of them are necessary,
Yeah, but you don't need to. I mean, again, like I said, I don't care about those kinds of words and language, but the implication is pretty hard.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. She asked me what I do for work. I work part-time here. I work at a small business here. And she goes, oh, I used to have a small business. I sold crystals and rocks and other spiritual items to people. And I go, oh.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Of course. So now, because she claims she's conservative, but so far, a lot of her opinions have been left-leaning because you're spiritual. Being spiritual is not really a conservative viewpoint.
No, it is not.
But I guess there are all walks of life, and I'm not here to judge.
That's fine, but it's if she's a true conservative, as she would brand
you would be
herself.
More traditional.
Yeah, you would probably have a more conservative view, a religious view.
Oh, just wait, just wait. So I go, oh, are you very spiritual? Are you a spiritual person? To which she goes, oh, I'm very spiritual. And she goes, are you religious? And I'm not lying to her on a first date. So I go, yes, I am religious. I was raised Catholic. I'm Greek Orthodox. And she goes, have you even read the Bible? And, again, honesty here. I said, I said to her, I've read 50 to 75% of the Bible. I haven't read the whole thing front to back, but I have read a lot of it. And you know what? I should have just lied to her and said I read the whole thing. I should have just lied to her.
That was not enough Bible.
Because that sent her on a mission, man.
Oh,
she was
no.
she was like, well, if you don't read the Bible front to back, then it tells a different story. And, they brainwash kids when they're young into religion. And the religion is just bullshit and blah, 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 blah. And she's going on and on and on about this. And then she eventually says, you're not one of those religious people that shove it down my throat, right? And before, just for us here, she's the one who brought up religion. I didn't bring up religion. Okay? So you brought up religion and you proceeded to shove it down my throat about how my religion sucks.
So is she against?
That's what I'm saying. You have a liberal view of everything else, but you claim you're conservative. I think she claims she's conservative just so she can say the N-word in public, which is just ridiculous. But so she's shitting on my religion, and I look at her, and I'm, again, I'm trying to be graceful here. So I just say to her, like, listen, whatever people want to believe in, they believe in. If it gives them comfort at the end of the day, that is what I believe in. That's fine by me. You believe in what makes you happy. And she was like, whatever you say, but I just don't like it when people shove it down my throat. And then I actually said to her, I was like, you brought up religion. I didn't bring up religion. And she goes, okay, well, I'm just saying, don't talk to me about religion.
I gotta say, usually if you're heading back to the crib, see how I got that little reference in there. Yo, you're heading back to the crib.
Yeah, you're not young. Don't try that.
And I was just trying to be relevant.
Yeah.
So if you are heading back to the crib, you feel this is going somewhere. Oh my God.
Of course, like the first date that I have in a while, and it's like this. You know what I mean? This is like a solid 2 out of 10 date.
All right, so my question is, typically, and I'm just going from memory, you're looking to go back to her place, your place, the place. When this whole thing is like, it's kind of, you're vibing this thing. It's working. We're moving in that direction. I don't see any indication you are moving in this direction. I would be like, just drop her off. But you didn't, did you?
I did not.
Damn it!
Because I'm too nice. I don't know how to say no. That's why.
All right, so you're in the car, shoving religion down her throat.
The religion discussion is now over.
My God.
She then brings up why she doesn't have a car. So apparently, she was T-boned. It was wrong place, wrong time. She was T-boned, and she got seriously injured, which is why, on top of she already had medical issues she was born with, but now she has even more medical issues from this accident. We're just compiling things. And apparently, because she told me this, I did not ask, I did not care, but she shared this information with me.
Oh, no.
Wrong place, wrong time, but I got a massive settlement out of it. She kept saying massive, and I was like, that's great. I'm happy for you. Can we not talk about your financials? I don't care. You know what I mean? But she kept bringing up her massive financials, her massive settlement that she got from this accident, right? So I'm like, great. So she doesn't have a car because she was T-boned, and she sued the hell out of whoever it was. She sued the hell out of whoever it was, and quite frankly, she won. And yeah, so we get back to her house.
Live with her parents.
We switch as we're driving back to as we get back to her house. We kind of switch back over into the pop culture conversation, which we then start vibing again. With the pop, whatever. We get back to her house, and we get out of the car. We start walking to her house. She's like, "Oh, just so you know, I just moved into this apartment. I haven't unpacked everything yet. It might be a little messy." And I'm like, "All right, that's fine. I'm not a big deal." We open the door.
Here we go.
And we're going to have to figure out what happens in part 3.
Holy mackerel! See you on the next one!